Timothy Roland Baldwin. Um, a son, a brother, a proud uncle, a super proud uncle, a fashion stylist, and entrepreneur.
Nice. So the next question, basically,
Yeah.
like I just wanted to know, man, it's just like where did this start for you? Like, getting into fashion and just like you growing up and like where did it started ticking for you? Like, oh, I want to put these shoes with this, or how about let me style you? You know what I'm saying? Like, when did that start for you?
Listen, it started from freaking ever since I can remember, from pre-K, when I used to wear when I used to wear penny loafers. Like everybody was wearing sneakers and stuff, and my mom would give me penny loafers, and I'm like, "Ma, you got?" I remember one morning she used to like put all this grease on my face. I like all this lotion on Vaseline on my face, and she got me dressed, and it was like a button-up shirt, some slacks, and then I got to my shoes, and we couldn't find a penny. I had a whole heart attack in the house to the point I need a penny. And I got to school, and I told everybody that. She knew once she got home that I was talking about her. I told my teachers, yeah, I got my penny loafers on, but my mother didn't put a penny in it. So I'm a little upset today. So it literally been my whole life, and my mom kind of like early on, like she used to like even in high school, she used to get like everything tailored. She hated the baggy phase that we went through. She used to get us. I don't know. She just used to keep us well groomed.
Yeah.
And it was always my thing. Like I always liked nice, like nice clothing.
Yeah.
And then once I got to Buff State, that's when I really kind of like found out about the business side of it. Okay. And I was just randomly walking down. I think I was in Cassidy. I think that was the name of one of the dorm rooms. Right?
Cassidy Hall.
Cassidy Hall. And my friend Ernestine had her door open. At the time, she wasn't my friend. I was just randomly talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And I went and we sat down, and I was in her room, and she was like, "Oh, hey, what do you like? What's your major? What do you want to do? Blah blah." And I was like, just general studies. I don't know what I want to do. And she's like, "You should just do fashion. Like you into fashion. You dress nice." And I'm like, "Yeah, I dress nice, but I'm not a designer. I didn't know any other aspects of." Fashion.
You didn't know the business of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it at all. Like nothing about it. Like, and I had no interest in women's fashion. It was just like men's. It was, that was my thing. Like I'm a guy. So she was like, have you ever heard of fashion styling? And she was doing an internship with a publicist, and her publicist, her boss, best friend was a stylist. And she was like, I could recommend you, and we could, I could recommend you. And I was like, okay. So she got my resume together. She made it look good and everything. And that summer of 2009 is when I got my first internship in New York. And I lied and said I lived in New York. I lied and said I was going to school at what school was I going to?
NYU.
I was lying. NYU.
Wow.
I was lying. NYU. Yeah, I'm at NYU, just trying to figure it out. Like I lied about the whole thing. And the good thing about it was I had a job. I was working at Urban Outfitters at the time. Okay. So I was able to transfer my job for the summer. They were very supportive.
Wow.
For the summer, they transferred me to New York, got me a position. So I would be working from like 10 until like 6 or 7, and then from like 7 until like 11 at night. I would be working at Urban Outfitters. So that's kind of how I got my start. And then after that, I kind of like fell in love with it. And it's just ever since then, I just been doing it. Like it's been one thing after another. Like Buff State, at the time, I don't really talk about this a lot, but Buff State wasn't really supportive in me having an internship because they were basically saying like, oh, well, what if you get a job off of this? Then you don't have your degree yet.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, well, it's fashion. What would I need a degree in fashion for?
Bro,
And
I
then
have
I
something
started,
similar to that. I'm sorry to cut you
yeah,
off. I'm
No,
gonna get
finish.
but no, because I'm glad that he said that because I also say too, like when I talk to people, I was like, I remember my guidance counselor was saying, "Listen, you're like you're like at a 2.5 or something like that with your GPA,
Give
like,
up.
but in my majors, like in my major classes, like in the script writing, all that stuff, filming, directing, I was getting A's." And he was like, what are you're going to need like at least a 3.0 to get your master's and stuff like that. I was like, I don't want my master's. And it was like, what?
right,
It's like, you got to go to grad school. I was like, no, to tell jokes, I don't need to go to grad school or creation. I was like, I don't want to do
right,
that. And they wasn't
right,
supportive in that aspect of like, I found something I want to do. This is a plus. And my experience comes from going on the field and doing what I love, similar to your story. So yeah,
right,
go back to that.
right. So that's when I kind of start seeing school as a business. And once I start getting into business, I was like, okay, if I'm not trying to be a doctor, a lawyer, anything that really requires training, everything else I could figure out on my own. That's literally how I felt. I never say this because everybody Buff State likes to. It is not to say it like this, but it's just me being honest. Buff State likes to, you know, push the people to the front that are in the industry and moving and shaking. But it's like what Buff State taught me was how to network and how to communicate with people and talk to people and bango paws and going on stage and doing stuff for like homecoming and stuff. It showed me how to like face my fears, know how to be in front of an audience and things like that. It was great for developing me into the person that I am now. But for my career, like my solid career, everything was learned from my internship. Yeah,
putting
from
in the
working
work.
the field.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit, aggravated with Buff State because I'm like, they wasn't trying to give me the credit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Until my senior year, and I'm like, why would I was just so I was like, you know what? If I do get a job, I'm gonna just call it quits and just follow my dreams.
Yeah.
And that's basically how it all started. And
so did you get to finish school or
no? I didn't.
Oh, they were
because
like,
I was over.
I
was over it. I was like, it made me rebel because when I feel like I'm the type of person where I support everybody. I'm rooting for everybody. I support other people's ideas. When I feel like it's not being reciprocated, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll move on. And that's exactly how I felt about Buff State. I'm like, y'all not supporting me. Like, I'm doing these great things. I have the potential, like, to do to do something else. And it's like, why you guys can't offer me like another option? They had a 3-in-1 deal with FIT. So why couldn't I? Like, I literally had already did 2.5. No, I did 3 years already at Buff State. So it was like, to me, I was like, why can't I just finish my last year at FIT?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, I got all these opportunities and I'm not about to. I would be so mad at myself and I would not be where I am today if I had not followed what I felt.
Right.
So that was
it almost
the thing
took you away from the journey that you was on, rather than supporting it because they're mad that you're not following it their way, and you're showing them
you're paying them the money.
Yeah, you're showing them well, there's a different way, and I'm doing it. I'm showing you the proof. And kudos to you to listening to your gut and your spirit to be like, you know what? At the end of the day, this is not for me. I'm gonna go after my dreams.
And I had everybody, not everybody against me, but my father wasn't really supportive.
Yeah.
Because my mother was supportive, but she didn't understand it. Like, my mother's a nurse, my grandmother's a nurse. So my father's a barber. So we're basically in the same field. So I kind of thought he would be understanding. And he was an entrepreneur too. So it's like, but he just really wasn't supportive about it. Now he is. Now more so he is. But I just was like, you know what? It just made me be like, you know what? Fuck forget all of this.
Yeah. No,
Like,
fuck. The word is fuck.
Yeah.
I heard
yeah.
it.
Because
I
you know
was
what I
like,
mean. Fuck this
I
situation.
was like, yeah, I was like, fuck this, I'm going to New York. And then it was crazy because I stayed with my friend Liz and her family, and they're Dominican, so it was like a different culture. I
Yeah.
was learning different stuff, and I fell in love with it. I'm like, the Dominican breakfast, and then
Yeah, you in the
start
mango, the salami, the
yes,
cheese. Yeah.
Tres golpe.
listen. I had it. I had that the other day. Like I woke up craving it, and I ordered it the other day, and I was like, it brought back so many memories. But I fell in love with everything about New York: the grind, the hustle. Me being around a whole all other culture.
Mm-hmm.
It was just everything about it, and it just really made me want to go hard. Like, cause I literally left Buffalo. I had a job lined up, but when I left, I didn't even have enough money to cross the toll. So
Oh.
I got there, and I'm like, I can't use this money because I'm going to need to get to work for gas money.
Yeah.
And so I just blew through the toll. And I went to New York. I moved my stuff into the room, and like 2 days later, I started my job. I was working at a retirement facility out in Long Island, and then I had 3 internships. Then it turned into assistant positions. They all turned into assistant positions, so that was kind of hard. And I had to choose one, and then like the next year, I was out on my own. So everything literally moved fast for me.
And it
So
fell
I'm
into
really happy.
place.
Yeah, it really did. And I just knew, like, it was like a gut feeling. Like I knew this is exactly what I needed to do.
Right. And what I love about it too, it seems like these things wasn't just given to you. Like in a sense, you was earning all these things, right? So like you didn't have no money. You had to figure things out. And those moments, even as an artist or as a human being, you could feel like, am I doing the right thing? You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. But you start seeing like things mapping up. But at the same time, you may have these fears and doubts, but you just kept going and then figured out the way.
What kept you going? What kept, like during those hard moments? Because of course they were very challenging for you to do. It wasn't like things were like back to back. What kept you going? Like what was that drive that you had to keep you going?
I would have to say, like, I would really have to say my mom and my grandmother because they really invested so much in me. And once I started making progress, they were so proud and happy. And then I felt like I can't let them down because they're investing so much in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really think about it like that because initially I will always say I don't know what kept me here because I've had some really hard times in New York because New York is a really hard place to live in, especially being young. I think I was 20, either 20 or 21 when I left, and and you at the time you think you're an adult, but you're really still a kid. Like you're not anyway mentally developed. You're not like it was really hard. So I don't. The only thing really that kept me going was my mother, and then when my grandmother died, I was like distraught because me and her was so close. I'm very very close with my immediate with my family in general, but my mother, my father, my brother, and my nieces. I'm very 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 close with them. So when she passed away, that was the first time I ever lost someone that was so instrumental in my life. So I wanted to give up, and that day was so crazy. So that week was crazy. It was like the first time I really worked with Kim. And she was doing a tour, and that was my first tour. It was my first time like working with her. And then somebody like I had made like a profile back in the day, was like Model Mayhem, and I made like a stylist profile, and a casting director reached out to me. She emailed me. She emailed my Buff State address because I still have my Buff State email address.
Wow,
She emailed
really research.
my Buff State email address. She emailed my regular email address, and then she tried to call me, but I didn't know the number, so I didn't answer. and she was casting for a reality show. It was like a fashion reality show. And I spoke to my grandmother that day, and I spoke to the woman, and I had an interview on Thursday for the position. So I spoke to my grandmother. Me and my grandmother was on the phone for about 7 hours.
Wow.
I still remember that day like it was yesterday. We were just talking and laughing. She's like, "Oh, things are really picking up for you. I'm so excited, and I'm so happy." And I was like, "Well, I'm probably not gonna take it anyways because I'm a private person, so I'm not really into like having my life or anything about me just like on TV."
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm probably not gonna take it, but it's the opportunity, so I'm gonna just see what they're talking about. And she's like, I'm so proud of you. I did so much that day. I literally remember the day I went to T-Mobile, I went to freaking the bank, did all this stuff, and
You
we were
got
still on the
Dominican
phone.
food.
Yeah. Well, I was living in Brooklyn at that time. So
So you got some
We got
Jamaican
Jamaican
food,
food.
oxtail,
Yeah, it's a
curry, rice and peas.
yeah. So I spoke to her that whole day. And then after that, I didn't speak to her anymore. And that was the last time I ever spoke to my grandmother. And that Friday, the Thursday I went to, I did the casting. The Friday, I did the tour. Saturday morning, they called me back from the casting saying that they wanted to, cast me as the stylist on the show. And then the next call after that was my mom telling me that I need to come home because my grandmother passed away.
Wow.
And then it didn't stop there. So then I'm driving. No, she called me and she was like, "You need to come home because your grandmother's dying." I'm like, "What?" Like, I literally just spoke to her, and she had cancer, but she was doing real good, and she was so strong. Like, she just never kind of like showed it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I was in New Jersey. I drove from New Jersey to my apartment in Brooklyn. It was a basement apartment. I get there, the police is there. I was renting a room, and a girl that was renting another room, like, got into a fight with the landlord. Then when the cops came, they said that the apartment was illegal and we had to evacuate.
Oh my
in
God.
72 hours. Like, literally my whole life. Like, once that happened,
that was a reality show.
That was it. I was like, "Oh no, I'm done." I said, "This is." I've had a lot of like knockouts. Like, I felt like I was fighting in a ring, and I had like a lot of punches, and then like I just got knocked out.
Wow.
So I had met a friend, and I was like, "I need to bring my car to your house," and she was like, "Okay." I brought my car to her house. In between that time, my grandmother had passed away. Like, when I was moving and everything, because she was going, but they said she might live until Monday. So I'm like, okay, I can make it still just to see her for the last time. And then I drove all the way out to North Belmore, Long Island, just to go back all the way to Port Authority. Got on a bus, rode a bus all the way to Buffalo. And I was like, well, it's done for me. I had to pack all my stuff. Literally, all my stuff was packed in my car in her driveway.
Wow.
And I was just like, it's done. I'm not going back. It's over. I'm done. I'm not mentally stable. I'm not okay. And I had made up my mind. I quit all my jobs, and I was like, I'm over it. I wasn't answering my phone for anybody. And my mom sat down and spoke to me, and she was like, "This is not what your grandmother would want you to do. She would want you to, live out your dreams." And she was so proud of you, and so happy about, your life, that you need to just keep going. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then one of my friends just called me and just like really like spoke life into me. And that's what made me come back. And then right after I got back is when like things started picking up even more. So I was like, it's the good and the bad, and it's like the ups and the downs. But like, even through all that, it was really hard to mentally be present in those moments, because I felt like, now looking back, I felt like I was really depressed, but I was just still trying to like, push forward.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course. But
So
with
it was,
reason, you know, you
yeah,
going through a lot came at you at once. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it was crazy. And now I look back and I laugh because I was like, I don't even know how I was even as strong to like
Yeah.
just be like, okay, like whatever. I'll just when it happened, I was like, whatever. I just gotta keep moving forward. I packed all my
Exactly.
stuff in
Yeah.
that moment, and I just kept going. So I don't know. Now looking back, like me now, I probably would have been like, okay, I don't know, like
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
you
know,
did
'cause,
it. You had the strength
yeah,
and the courage to
Yeah,
push
it showed
through,
you.
you know, and the perseverance too,
hmm
you
And
know, and
also
you
the
believed
guide.
in yourself
Yeah.
enough to hear what they were telling
right,
you and be
right,
like, you know what? I believe in myself and I'm gonna keep going.
And also,
right,
your grandmother too helping you from the
Yep.
other side, spiritually.
yeah,
So those blessings
yeah,
she was passing down. And I think, it's losing someone is always tough.
Mm.
But I think the
hmm
blessing is that you had like 7 hours of her time just like
Yeah.
talking about like everything and her just
right,
saying like, I'm proud of you. Like I think, that was like, the last like unexpected touching phone chat that
hmm
that you mean the most.
Definitely.
Because even like I said, like I still remember to this day everything that I did. So and what I spoke to her about, and I think that's great that you still have that beautiful memory. And
Hmm.
then
hmm
she passed on and she transitioned.
hmm
Rather having no words with her.
right, right, right. And it was just so crazy. And my mom, even still to this day, like, I really just got over it in what was it, 2018. Me
Mm,
and my mom had a long talk just about life because me and my mother have been through so much, and
mm,
me, my mother, and my grandmother have been through so much, and they've been through so much in their life. And I
Mm.
admire their strength and their courage to keep going. I think now that I think about it, that's definitely where it comes from. It comes from my
yep.
mother and my grandmother because
I was
they
gonna
had
make that
so much.
Yeah.
connection. I was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
And you
Yeah.
said it too when I
they,
asked you the question.
yeah, they
You're
are.
a rock.
My grandmother, and she was so young,
Mm,
and she was a comedian too. Like she was hilarious, hilarious. She, she, my grandfather passed away when he was 19, and she had already had three kids. So my mother never really had a chance to like. She met her father, but she was only one, so she don't have that many memories. And then
Oh.
my
mm,
mom went through so much stuff in her marriage, and
mm,
me and her, I had to witness so much because I'm
yeah.
the oldest out of me and my brother. Um, so I witnessed a lot because me and my mother was close. I would go everywhere with her. I would witness a lot, and she's just been through a lot, but they're not different people.
Yeah.
Nothing ever changed them. Like they're still great people. They still treat people with love and respect.
Mm.
And I try to embody that, like 'cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
they are really like role models in my life, and they were very instrumental. And like I said, they literally gave me their last to keep me in New York. So I was like, you know what,
Mm.
I gotta make something out of it.
Oh yeah.
I can't. And then once I got back into the swing of things, I was like, oh, it's over. It's game
Yeah.
time.
Mm, mm,
I'm doing whatever I gotta do to make sure. Well, not whatever I gotta do, but
yeah. Yeah.
whatever I have to do to hustle to make sure my mom and my
Yeah.
family is good, and nobody's taking nothing away from me. Like
Mm,
if I got, because the industry is like dog eat dog, and I wasn't like that. I was real, like timid and real
mm,
like cool and like understanding. But after I got that like battery pack on my back, I just seen things started changing. So
mm.
Mm.
I was gonna that.
that's definitely my inspiration. My mother,
Yeah.
my grandmother, and my rock.
I was gonna ask you that
Nice.
because it's the
That's so
perfect
beautiful.
leeway. Because like you said, this industry, is very cutthroat, dog eat dog. Your
Mhm.
hard people, very. You can't trust a lot of people. You work, with Little Kim, Ashanti, and a lot of other people as well on your resume.
Hmm.
How I want to know what was your takeaway working with them in the sense of like now that you are staying true to yourself and also
Yeah.
your vision. And of course, these people, they've been around for years and they have a name too. And how it's normal to feel in a sense like, am I worthy to do this job? You being intimidated by
Mhm.
them, maybe is, but they also could be easy to work with. So, how was that? You know, what was that journey for you? Now, staying true to your vision, working with
And being
people
grounded
and being
still.
grounded, and
Yeah.
people having a name and a celebrity limelight on them?
I honestly like never really looked at it like that. With Kim, it was more so like I was a fan of hers, and that I feel like that was the most intimidating situation because she's literally done everything. So I
Yeah.
would get nervous, and I would be, my nerves would kind of sometimes take over.
Hmm.
In the beginning a lot, but once I kind of like grounded myself and like, and I just like came up with a game plan on like how to, sorry,
Uh-huh.
how to sorry about that.
No fine.
How to approach the situation and how to like handle a person like her.
Yeah.
It kind of everything shifted. Everything got better, and because a lot of times I don't know, I would be intimidated,
Yeah.
but after I like I'm like, this is a human being.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I got to be confident, and that's what kind of like took me to the next level. But a lot of times I kind of like now it's kind of like a second nature. Like I know,
Hmm.
like after I work with somebody a few times, I kind of like get the gist of them, and I know exactly what to do. I know what their fan base is gonna want, and I don't know. The most I learned from working with everyone is just to be like just to be myself.
Mm.
Not and not get caught up in like the
Yeah.
celebrity world,
Exactly.
because a lot of times a lot of times it's like two different people. Like it's the celebrity and then it's the person.
The human
So it's
Right.
being.
like,
Right.
yeah, like people.
What
Kim
the
has this
media shows
persona,
and what they actually
Yeah.
are
right,
behind the
right,
camera.
because Kim has this persona, but me and her always spoke about like spiritual things.
Hmm.
Nice.
We were always like, like we had always had the spiritual connection, and it was like a lot of times when we didn't agree on things, we would like agree to disagree. So it was really like, you know, I learned a lot, like, that it's always two different people
Yeah.
when you're dealing with these people. So you kind of gotta like include all of that when you're working with them. Like you gotta include who they are as a
Yeah.
person genuinely, and
Mm-hmm.
then their persona as the artist
Gotcha.
and the brand that they become.
What are the steps to, like, so for instance, like you book something with, just so I'm aware, because I don't know about that world. I just know that like when I see the final product, I'm like, oh man, that was hot. And I was like, oh, I will wear that blazer. Like I will wear those shoes. So like what is the journey that goes, or the process that goes behind there? Like what's an example? I don't know. Like maybe for example, one of your clients is going on tour. Like, do they give you ideas of what they're looking for, or you just walk in with a blank canvas and chat with them? Like, take me down that, I guess, a scenario.
So it's for touring is a little bit different because I like to do designing and custom looks. So
Mm.
for touring is like you kind of sit and talk with them and bounce ideas off of each other, and like see what type of vibe they're in, see what type of with the tour, like what the demographic of the tour is,
The music.
and then after that, yeah, the music, and then after that, you meet up with designers and see who wants to be a part. Come up
Mm.
with the designs. It's a bunch of designs. You have to communicate with a bunch of different people. Sometimes people, you're not even communicating with the designer. You have to communicate with the PR person and things like that. Or the assistant is like, so at for one tour you're dealing with 20 to 30 different people that you got to
Wow.
communicate with. Then you get the clothes, you do the fitting, you see what works, see what doesn't work. You have to get it altered and fitted, and then after that you kind of like plan out on which night they're gonna wear like each piece.
Damn, like
And then for like,
yeah. It sounds like your
yeah, it's
your
a
your
lot.
process is a lot. Like what it's not as simple as like, what are the clothes? We're gonna go with A, Z and like G. Like
No, because you have to deal with all the people.
Yeah,
It's not like it's you.
yeah, and then you have to, yeah, you have to see the staging, the lighting.
Mm.
You have the background dancers. It's a lot. It's
So
really
it's
a
like a
lot.
film.
So
It's kind of like a film.
yeah,
If you
it's a
think about it,
film.
right?
Yeah, and
Wow.
then red carpets.
Mm.
Everything is different. Like red
Yeah.
carpet, the process is different. TV appearances
Mm.
is different. Photo shoots is different. It's all different processes because everything requires a different. Um, it requires
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
So, just for instance, like a red carpet, like you basically reach out to designers,
Mm.
Mm.
and they send dresses, they send dress options and things like that. You don't necessarily have to buy or purchase anything
Mm.
because it's their form of advertising.
That's right.
So they're allowing you to borrow the garments so it could get placed on the red carpet. People talk about it, and that's their PR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now I want to talk about you now designing your own fashion and clothing line, and what sparked that idea and what made you say, okay, well, here's another
Now it's gonna be
avenue,
my
another
stuff.
dream that I want to go. Here I'm going to invest in me now, you know?
Um, I felt like that's exactly what it was. Like I needed to invest in me. I needed to kind of get back to a lot of people, a lot of pieces I wear
Mm.
are a little flashy, but people, a lot of guys DM me like, where can I get this jacket or where can I like,
Mm.
and it's like something that I got made for myself.
I'm
So
a
I was like, you
size
know
extra
what,
large,
my
by the way,
thing,
but you don't have to
yeah.
send it. 38, 34. I'm
um,
just saying. I'm just naming numbers if you have anything later around.
I got you.
Size 13. I mean, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I just get send all over,
Women's
send your
clothes.
whole
No.
measurement over. Right? um, wait, I forgot the question now.
No. You was talking
What
about.
made you start
You said that
investing in
you
yourself?
said it was time for
Oh,
you to
Yeah.
invest in you and to send Rick extra large 38, 36 pants and
right,
and some Dominican food. But yeah, you say something along those lines.
right.
Nah, but you said it was time to invest in you.
Yeah, my friends is like, oh, why don't you have a jacket line, or why don't you have this? Like, you wear all these nice jackets and things like that. You should just do it. And when the pandemic happened, I was just like, I had so much time to just sit and think.
Mm.
So I was like, let me just start the process. But with the pandemic happening, it's really hard to find the right manufacturers, the right people to produce it, because I want to actually go to the factory and make sure that the clothes are being
Yeah.
Yeah.
made properly, people are being compensated properly, and things like that. So that's the holdup right now with actually doing it. And everything is so delayed. The shipping
Yeah.
is delayed. Like I'm still waiting for a shipping from November.
Wow.
So with the clothing line, um, is basically going to start off with just outerwear
Yeah.
and jackets for both men and women, but more
Yeah.
so a focus on men. And then it's going to evolve into more, like a complete collection.
Mm.
Because right now I can't, because I'm also opening a boutique.
Nice.
So I just know how in my world how everything works. I know I'm not going to be able to have like a complete collection and
Yeah.
do it every season and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So I want to gradually pace myself
Yeah.
and
That's good.
yeah.
Where's your
What?
boutique gonna be?
It's gonna be online. I'm gonna just do
Okay.
it
Oh,
online
okay,
because I feel
nice.
like I feel like retail is like it's good to try things when they have have everything tangible, but in the beginning I want to just focus on having an online boutique
Yeah.
and
Okay.
because I'm still new to it, new to the
Mhm.
Yeah.
having a store, and things like that. So I rather take it, step by step than to just
Yeah.
be like, oh, I'm gonna open a
Oh, I'm
store
gonna.
and I'm gonna open
Yeah,
online. But
Yeah.
so, yeah, so
that's smart.
So Tim, we got like this last segment that we do, and then the interview will be over. And thank you. I know you doing a gig, and thank you for taking time to do this. And this
No
last segment
problem.
is called Rapid Fire, and it's like 4 questions, and it's like whatever comes to mind. Doesn't have to be this. Oh,
Oh no!
doesn't have to
Don't
be this
worry.
long thing.
No.
So the
I'm
first.
nervous.
No, you're
It's
good.
good. It's good. The first question is, what has been your biggest disappointment?
People.
People.
Great.
Yeah.
What single thing would improve the quality of your life? And money is not involved in this. So it could be something as simple as like, you know what, taking more naps because I need sleep.
You said would improve my like quality of life.
Yeah. What?
Honestly, like I don't have any children yet, but honestly, like since my niece has been born, my Lonnie, she has been like a source of my happiness. Like I can't even begin to explain like how happy she makes me, and just like looking at her, seeing her. She calls me 20 times a day.
Oh.
She make me watch her play with her Barbies. She'll have her chip like this and try to feed me like that. Like
That's a
she
beautiful
is just like she is like everything. Like I can be pissed. I can be mad about something. I can be, because with my job you got to chase people to pay you.
Yeah.
So I can be mad about something like that, and she'll just call me, and it'll just make my day so much better. So she has literally been like the source of my happiness, and I'm like so thankful. Like I literally pray for her every night, and I'm very thankful to have someone that just I can just tell she loves me, and like she just like I don't know. It's just so much love there.
Yeah.
And it's like to me it's like the closest thing to like how me and my grandmother relationship was. So with her is like the same thing. And the way she loves on my mother, my brother, her mother, like she's just adorable. She's an adorable kid, and she just makes me happy. Like the things she say, like even when she cursing out her dog, like literally cursing her dog out. She is just a beautiful soul. So that's my source.
That's so funny because I thought she was your daughter. When I saw your social media, I thought she was your daughter.
Yeah, like
so funny.
That is my daughter.
But she is.
My brother is a lot. My brother is a lot younger than me. My brother's 23. Yeah, 20. He's 23. So he had her when he was 20, and so it's kind of like we all been raising her, and like I've been like we've been FaceTime ever since she was a newborn. Like I would call her every day, and it's like our relationship is there. When I see her in person, it's still there. Like it's a beautiful thing. Like it's really beautiful, and I love her to pieces.
That's great. The next question is, what do you consider your greatest achievement?
I feel like my greatest achievement is knowing that I made my mother proud. That's to me, that's my greatest achievement. Like I am proud of myself in my career, but knowing that I made my mother proud and I can provide for my mother, and she doesn't have to worry about anything, that really makes me feel good. Like, because she wasn't afforded the same opportunities as I was, but she helped me along the way, the best of her ability. So now that I'm able to help her and be in a position to do things for her, that really, like, it literally makes me feel good. Like, no matter what, help make it, being there for her and making sure she's okay. That really makes me feel good.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
So the last question is, what is the most important lesson life has taught you?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we hitting you. We hitting you right now, bro. But this is the last one. This is the last one.
Don't worry.
Yeah. The toughest lesson. Man.
The most important lesson
most
life taught you.
important.
Oh, the most important
Yeah.
lesson.
Yeah.
I guess I would say that is to never give up on yourself
Yeah.
and um never allow like outside voices or anything from the outside deter you from your journey. Because I
Mhm.
always think like, what would my life be if I wasn't like I'm literally happy. Like
Mhm.
I'm literally happy. It's times where I have, bad days, but I'm literally happy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have happiness. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't have um a sense of peace, a sense of
Mhm.
happiness. Like I have that. So I'm very appreciative of it. And I feel like I don't think I would be as happy if I would have listened to everybody
Mhm.
and it's not to say like this, but if I would have stayed in Buffalo
Yeah.
and not follow my dreams and like, it just would be a different quality of life. So I think that was the best lesson. And because I was a grudge holder at one point and
Yeah.
I had to stop that too. That was another lesson that I learned, like, not to hold grudges and and things like that. But yeah, that would be that. I would say that would be my two biggest lessons that
Nice.
Nice.
life has taught me. It is a lot more, but
Those are the first two
those
that
I
come
think
to
those are
mind.
those are the first two that come to mind.